The deafening blare of the station's emergency sirens jolted Samuel Keene awake, his heart pounding as the red warning lights flashed across his quarters. He'd barely slept 3 hours after his 16-hour shift in the mining facility's deep extraction unit. The communication system crackled to life, the station AI's voice cutting through the alarm. Emergency in Sector 7. Medical personnel required. Repeat. Emergency in Sector 7. Sam groaned and rubbed his bloodshot eyes. As the only human medic on Proxima Station, he knew they were calling for him. He swung his legs over the side of the bed, fighting the persistent lightheadedness that had plagued him for weeks now. The station's artificial gravity seemed to press down on him more heavily each day. "I'm coming," he muttered to no one, reaching for the medkit he kept by his bunk. His fingers trembled slightly as he grabbed it, a symptom he'd been carefully hiding from his alien colleagues. The corridors of Proxima Station were a blur of motion as Sam jogged toward Sector 7, the mining facility's processing plant. Gaussian workers, with their distinctive blue-scaled skin and 4 arms, rushed past him in the opposite direction, evacuating the area. The station had been established as a joint human-alien venture to mine the asteroid belt of the Proxima Centauri system, but humans remained the minority by far. When Sam arrived at Sector 7, he found 2 Gaussian security officers securing the area. Between them lay a human engineer, Ellis, clutching his leg. A piece of machinery had collapsed, crushing his lower limb. "Let me through," Sam said, kneeling beside the injured man. "Compression fracture, possibly severed artery," Sam diagnosed, quickly administering pain medication and applying a pressure bandage. "We need to get him to medical." The Gaussian officers helped load Ellis onto a hover stretcher. Sam felt the familiar lightheadedness intensify as he stood up too quickly, but he pushed through it. The injured man needed him. In the medical bay, Sam worked methodically to stabilize Ellis. The station's advanced medical equipment made the process easier, but Sam felt his energy draining faster than usual. After ensuring Ellis was stable and the bone-knitting process had begun, Sam leaned against the wall, closing his eyes for just a moment. "Medic Keene, your vital signs are showing concerning fluctuations," said the medical AI. "I'm fine," Sam replied automatically. "Just tired. Recommended course of action. Full diagnostic scan." Sam waved off the suggestion. "Later. I have reports to file." But as he pushed away from the wall, his vision blurred and the room tilted sideways. He grabbed for the nearest surface to steady himself, knocking over a tray of instruments that clattered loudly to the floor. The commotion brought Dr. Zex into the room. The Tracerian physician was the station's chief medical officer, a brilliant xenobiologist with 6 limbs and compound eyes that missed nothing. "Medic Keene," Zex's voice had the distinctive click-hum quality of all Tracerians. "You appear to be experiencing physical distress." "I'm fine," Sam insisted, even as he felt his knees weaken. "Just haven't eaten much today." Zex moved with surprising speed, catching Sam before he could hit the floor. "That is clearly not the case. You will submit to examination immediately." Too weak to argue, Sam allowed Zex to help him onto an examination table. The Tracerian's touch was surprisingly gentle despite his chitinous exoskeleton. Zex activated the medical scanner, his compound eyes studying the readings with intensity. "Your blood pressure is dangerously low. How long have you been experiencing symptoms?" Sam sighed, knowing he couldn't hide it anymore. "A few weeks. Dizziness, fatigue, shortness of breath." "I figured it was just the long shifts and the artificial gravity." "Incorrect assumption," Zex replied, his tone clinical as more data appeared on the screen. "Your blood cellular density is significantly below human norms. Hemoglobin count is..." He paused, his antennae twitching in what Sam had learned was a sign of alarm. "Your blood is too thin." Despite the seriousness of the moment, Sam couldn't help but smile. "That's my prescription." Zex's compound eyes blinked in confusion. "Clarify." You have been prescribed a medical treatment to thin your blood? Sam nodded, feeling somewhat relieved to finally explain. I have a condition called polycythemia vera. My bone marrow produces too many red blood cells. Without treatment, my blood gets too thick, which can cause clots, strokes, heart attacks. I take medication to keep my blood thinner than normal. Zex's antennae twitched rapidly. This information was not in your medical file. It should be, Sam frowned. I submitted all my medical history when I signed on for this assignment. The Tresarian doctor moved to the data terminal, his limbs working multiple controls simultaneously. Your file contains only basic human medical parameters. No mention of this condition or prescribed treatments. Sam closed his eyes, a wave of exhaustion washing over him. Great. Classic bureaucratic oversight. I've been taking my medication regularly, but the medication dosage may require adjustment for the conditions on the station, Zex finished. The higher radiation levels, different atmospheric pressure, and artificial gravity may all affect your condition. Plus, I ran out of my primary medication 2 weeks ago, Sam admitted. I've been using my backup supply, which isn't as effective. Zex made a sound that Sam interpreted as disapproval. This is severe negligence, both from station administration and yourself, Medic Keene. Why did you not report this shortage? Sam tried to sit up but found himself too weak. The supply ship is due in 3 days. I thought I could manage until then. Unacceptable risk assessment, Zex stated flatly. Your condition has deteriorated beyond safe parameters. We must synthesize a suitable alternative immediately. Can you do that? Sam asked, genuinely curious. Most human medications couldn't be easily replicated in the station's fabricators. It presents a challenge, Zex admitted, but an interesting one. I will need to consult with Dr. Hellorn in xenobiology. Your unique physiology combined with this condition creates a fascinating medical puzzle. Glad my potentially fatal condition can provide you with some entertainment, Sam said dryly. Zex's antennae straightened in what Sam recognized as embarrassment. I apologize for my insensitivity. Human sarcasm remains difficult to navigate. Please rest while I begin work on a solution. As Zex left, Sam lay back on the examination table, staring at the sterile ceiling of the medical bay. The irony wasn't lost on him, the only human medic on the station, now a patient himself. The next few hours passed in a blur of tests and examinations. Zex returned with Dr. Hellorn, a Vexillian with translucent skin that revealed the complex network of organs within. The two alien doctors spoke rapidly in their native languages, the station's translation system struggling to keep up with their specialized medical terminology. Sam drifted in and out of consciousness, his condition worsening. He heard fragments of their conversation: human hematopoiesis, bone marrow regulation, JK2 mutation. They understood his condition better than he'd expected. When he fully awoke again, Zex was standing over him, holding a small vial of amber liquid. We have synthesized a compound that should regulate your blood cell production, the Tresarian explained. It combines elements of your prescribed medication with modifications to account for the station's environment. Sam eyed the vial skeptically. You're sure it's safe? We have run extensive simulations, Zex replied. The probability of adverse effects is minimal. However, I must inform you that this remains experimental treatment. What's the alternative? Sam asked, already knowing the answer. Medical evacuation to Earth. Estimated arrival time, 6 weeks. Your current condition would not sustain such a journey without emergency cryostasis, which carries its own risks given your unstable blood parameters. Sam nodded. Let's try your amber goo then. Dr. Hellorn stepped forward, his translucent form shimmering under the medical bay lights. We will administer a small dose first and monitor your reaction carefully. The liquid burned as it entered Sam's bloodstream, and for a terrifying moment, his heart raced and his vision darkened. Then, gradually, the sensation subsided. He felt a strange warmth spreading through his limbs, and the persistent dizziness began to recede. "Vital signs stabilizing," Zex announced, studying the monitors. "Blood cell production is being suppressed to appropriate levels. Fascinating response rate." Sam took a deep breath, noticing how much easier it felt. "It's working?" "Preliminary results are promising," Zex confirmed. "But you will require close monitoring for at least 72 hours. Over the next 3 days, Sam remained in the medical bay under constant observation. The alien doctors adjusted the dosage several times, fine-tuning the medication to his specific needs. Sam was surprised by their dedication and the depth of their knowledge about human physiology. By the 3rd day, Sam was sitting up and even able to walk short distances. Zex had confirmed that his blood parameters were stabilizing within acceptable ranges. "Your recovery rate exceeds predictions," Zex noted during his morning examination. "Human physiology continues to surprise me with its adaptability." "Does that mean I can get back to work?" Sam asked hopefully. He'd been monitoring Ellis's recovery remotely and was eager to check on his patient in person. "Negative," Zex replied firmly. "You will remain under observation until the supply ship arrives with your proper medication. We cannot risk a relapse." Sam sighed but didn't argue. He knew the alien doctor was right. Later that day, the station commander, a senior Galcian named Drex, visited the medical bay. His 4 arms were clasped in the formal position of official business. "Medic Keene," Drex's voice rumbled deep in his chest. "Dr. Zex has informed me of the serious oversight regarding your medical condition. This should never have happened." "No harm done," Sam said, attempting to downplay the situation. "The doctors here found a solution." "That is not the point," Drex insisted. "Our agreement with the Earth Medical Corps explicitly guaranteed proper support for human personnel. This failure could have had diplomatic consequences." Sam hadn't considered the political implications. Humans were still relatively new to the interstellar community, and the mining operation was an important symbol of cooperation. "I have ordered a full review of all human personnel files," Drex continued, "and instituted new protocols for medication inventory. Additionally, we are establishing an emergency synthesis capability for critical human pharmaceuticals." "That's thorough," Sam replied, impressed despite himself. Drex's facial scales shifted in what Sam had learned was a smile. "We value your presence here, Medic Keene. Your skills have saved many lives, both human and non-human. It would be counterproductive to allow you to perish from a preventable condition." "When you put it that way, I'm touched," Sam said with a laugh. "Rest and recover," Drex said as he turned to leave. "The mining operation can wait." The next day, the supply ship arrived, bringing Sam's proper medication along with other essential supplies. After confirming the medication's effectiveness, Zex reluctantly declared Sam fit to return to light duty. "You must report any symptoms immediately," the Tresarian doctor insisted, "and return for daily monitoring for the next 2 weeks." "I promise," Sam said, sincerely grateful for the alien doctor's care. "And I'll make sure my full medical history is properly recorded this time." "I have already taken that liberty," Zex replied. "Your file now contains extensive documentation of your condition, treatment protocols, and emergency procedures. I have also included our findings regarding the interaction between your medication and the station environment." "Thank you," Sam said. "That goes beyond the call of duty." Zex's antennae twitched in what might have been embarrassment. "It is scientifically interesting. Your condition provides valuable data on human adaptability to space environments." As Sam prepared to leave the medical bay, Dr. Hellorn approached him with a small container. "We have refined the emergency substitute medication," the Vexillian explained. "Should you ever find yourself without your prescribed treatment again, this will sustain you until proper supplies arrive." Sam accepted the container, touched by the gesture. "I appreciate that. Hopefully I won't need it, but it's good to have a backup." Your blood condition has stimulated valuable research, Halloran said, his organs visibly pulsing with excitement through his translucent skin. We are now investigating applications for other species with similar disorders. Glad my defective bone marrow could contribute to interstellar medicine, Sam said with a smile. Over the following weeks, Sam returned to his full duties, but with a new awareness of how his condition interacted with the station environment. Zex had recommended adjustments to his work schedule and living quarters to better accommodate his needs. The experience had changed something else, too. Before his collapse, Sam had kept mostly to himself, viewing his alien colleagues as just that, colleagues, not friends. Now, he found himself spending off-duty hours in the station's common areas, learning more about the diverse species that called Proxima Station home. One evening, sitting in the observation lounge watching the distant flares of Proxima Centauri, Sam was joined by Zex. The Tresarian doctor moved with his characteristic precision, settling into the specially designed seating that accommodated his exoskeleton. Your latest blood tests show optimal parameters, Zex noted without preamble. The adjusted medication protocol is proving effective. I feel better than I have in months, Sam admitted. I hadn't realized how much I'd been struggling until I started feeling normal again. Zex's compound eyes studied him. Humans have a remarkable capacity for ignoring physical warning signs. It is both an advantage and a liability. We call it being stubborn, Sam replied with a laugh. An apt term. Zex was silent for a moment, his antennae moving gently as he contemplated the stellar view. I have been researching human medical history. Your species' approach to medicine evolved very differently from Tresarian methods. How so? Sam asked, genuinely curious. Tresarian medicine developed from collective observation. Our hive ancestry meant that medical knowledge was shared immediately throughout the population. Human medicine appears to have advanced through what you might call trial and error.
Sam nodded.
That's a diplomatic way of putting it. We made a lot of mistakes along the way. Yet the results are impressive, Zex said. Your medical techniques for trauma treatment in particular have proven highly adaptable to other species. Your personal expertise has saved numerous lives on this station. Just doing my job, Sam said, feeling somewhat uncomfortable with the praise. There is something I wish to understand, Zex continued. When I informed you that your blood was too thin, a potentially life-threatening condition, you smiled and said it was your prescription. Why did you find humor in that moment? Sam considered the question. I guess it was ironic. My whole life, I've been taking medication to keep my blood thin because otherwise it gets dangerously thick. Then I end up in a situation where my blood is too thin, and it's still because of my condition. Sometimes humans laugh at contradictions like that, especially in stressful situations. Humor as a stress response, Zex mused. Fascinating. Tresarians process stress through pheromonal releases and communal vibration patterns. That sounds more efficient, Sam remarked, but perhaps less satisfying on an individual level, Zex suggested. I have observed that human humor appears to provide psychological comfort. It does, Sam agreed. Laughing at a bad situation doesn't fix it, but it sometimes makes it easier to handle. Their conversation was interrupted by the station's communication system. Medical emergency in Docking Bay 3. Human and Galaxian personnel injured. Medical team requested immediately. Both Sam and Zex rose instantly. As they rushed toward the emergency, Sam realized something had changed. He was no longer just the human medic working alongside alien colleagues. They were a team, each bringing their unique perspectives and abilities to their shared mission. At the docking bay, they found chaos. A cargo loading mechanism had failed, sending heavy containers crashing down. 3 workers were injured, 2 Galaxians and 1 human. Sam immediately assessed the human victim, a woman named Diane who worked in logistics. She had a severe laceration across her torso and was losing blood rapidly. Pressure hemostasis applied, Sam reported as he worked. Need synthetic blood and regenerative gel. Beside him, Zex was treating one of the Gaussian workers, his 6 limbs moving with incredible precision as he addressed the alien's injuries. Dr. Hellorn is en route with emergency supplies, Zex informed him. Gaussian casualties are stable. How is the human patient? Critical but responding, Sam replied, administering emergency stimulants to keep Diane's heart rate stable. Blood pressure dropping. We need to move her to medical bay as soon as possible. Dr. Hellorn arrived with the emergency supplies, his translucent body pulsing with exertion. The 3 medical professionals worked in seamless coordination, stabilizing the injured workers and preparing them for transport. As they moved Diane to the medical bay, Sam felt a momentary wave of dizziness, but pushed through it, focusing on his patient. Once she was connected to the advanced medical systems, her condition began to stabilize. You should rest, Medic Keene, Zex suggested, noticing Sam's pallor. Dr. Hellorn and I can monitor the patients. I'm fine, Sam insisted. Just need to check my medication levels. I'll take a quick break after I make sure Diane is stable. Zex studied him with those compound eyes that missed nothing. Your dedication is admirable but potentially counterproductive if you collapse. Take your medication and rest for 30 minutes. That is a medical order. Sam nodded, recognizing the wisdom in the alien doctor's words. He retreated to the small office adjacent to the medical bay, administered his medication, and sat down to rest. As the medication took effect, he felt his strength returning. When he returned to the medical bay, Diane was conscious and stable. You saved my life, she said weakly as Sam checked her vitals. It was a team effort, Sam replied, gesturing to where Zex and Hellorn were treating the Gaussian workers. We're lucky to have some of the best doctors in the system here. Over the next few days, as the injured workers recovered, Sam reflected on how much had changed since his own medical emergency. The station administration had implemented all of Drex's recommended changes, ensuring that human medical needs were properly documented and supplied. More significantly, the medical team had developed new protocols that combined the best of human, Tricerian, and Vexillian medical practices. 1 week after the docking bay accident, Sam was reviewing patient files when Zex entered the office. I've been authorized to inform you of a new initiative, the Tricerian announced. The Interstellar Medical Exchange Program has approved Proxima Station as a training facility for cross-species medical education. That's great news, Sam said. We've certainly had plenty of practical experience lately. Indeed. And you have been recommended as the human medical advisor for the program. Zex's antennae twitched in what Sam now recognized as enthusiasm. Your unique medical condition and your adaptability to alien medical practices make you ideally suited for the role. Sam was surprised by the offer. I'm just a field medic. There are more qualified human doctors. None with your practical experience in cross-species emergency medicine, Zex countered. Or with your demonstrated ability to work effectively with non-human medical personnel. Sam considered the proposal. When he'd accepted the assignment to Proxima Station, he'd seen it as a temporary posting, a way to earn credits for advanced medical training back on Earth. Now he was being offered an opportunity to be part of something unprecedented, the development of truly interstellar medical practices. I'd be honored, Sam finally said. But I'll need regular shipments of my medication. Already arranged, Zex assured him, along with emergency synthesis capabilities and regular monitoring of your condition. We have learned from our oversight. 2 months later, the first group of medical trainees arrived at Proxima Station, a diverse collection of humans and aliens, all specializing in different aspects of medicine. Sam, now fully recovered and with his condition properly managed, stood with Zex and Hellorn to greet them. Welcome to Proxima Station, Sam began. You're here because interstellar cooperation isn't just about mining resources or sharing technology. It's about understanding each other on the most fundamental level, how our bodies work, how we heal, how we survive." He looked at Zex, remembering the Tressarians' confusion at his inappropriate humor during a medical crisis. "We have different physiologies, different medical traditions, and even different ways of responding to stress and illness. Those differences can create challenges, but they also offer unprecedented opportunities for medical advancement." As the new arrivals settled in, Sam showed them around the medical facilities, which had been expanded to accommodate the training program. The medical bay now included specialized equipment for diverse species and an advanced research laboratory. "This is where we developed an emergency substitute for my blood-thinning medication," Sam explained to a fascinated young human doctor. "I have a condition called polycythemia vera, which means my bone marrow produces too many red blood cells." "That must be challenging in space," the doctor commented. "It was, especially when my medication supply was interrupted," Sam admitted. "That's when I learned firsthand how valuable cross-species medical knowledge can be." He glanced over to where Zex was demonstrating Tressarian surgical techniques to a group of trainees. "My blood was too thin, a potentially fatal situation, but Dr. Zex and Dr. Hellorn synthesized a compound that saved my life." "That's remarkable," the young doctor said. "The medical journals mention the case, but hearing it firsthand is different."
Sam nodded.
What the journals probably didn't capture was the moment when Dr. Zex announced, "Your blood is too thin," and I smiled and told him that was my prescription. He still references that moment when teaching about cultural differences in stress responses. Later that evening, after the orientation was complete, Sam joined Zex and Hellorn in the observation lounge. The three doctors had developed a routine of meeting there to discuss the day's events and plan for the next. "The new trainees show promise," Zex observed, "particularly the Arcturian neurologist. Her understanding of pain pathways across species is impressive. The human cardiologist seems overly focused on human physiology," Hellorn noted, his internal organs pulsing with concern. He appeared uncomfortable during the comparative anatomy demonstration. "Give him time," Sam suggested. "It took me weeks to stop thinking in purely human medical terms. Some of us are slower to adapt than others." "Speaking of adaptation," Zex said, "your latest blood tests show perfect stability. The modified medication protocol continues to be effective."
Sam smiled.
"I haven't felt this good in years. Turns out, what I needed was alien doctors who didn't know they were supposed to be limited by human medical conventions." "Ignorance as an advantage," Hellorn mused, his translucent skin shimmering in the starlight. "An intriguing concept." "Sometimes not knowing what's impossible lets you discover what's possible," Sam replied. As they sat together watching the stars, Sam reflected on the journey that had brought him here. What had begun as a frightening medical emergency had transformed into something remarkable, a pioneering program in interstellar medicine and friendships that crossed the boundaries of species. The station's communication system chimed softly, announcing the arrival of a supply ship. Among its cargo would be Sam's next batch of medication, carefully formulated based on the research Zex and Hellorn had conducted. "I should check the medical supplies when they arrive," Sam said, rising from his seat. "We will accompany you," Zex offered, his 6 limbs unfolding as he stood. "The new synthetic compounds we requested should be included in this shipment." As the 3 doctors made their way through the station corridors, Sam noticed how seamlessly they moved together, each compensating for the other's physical differences. It was a small thing, but it represented something profound, the beginning of a truly interstellar medical community. At the cargo bay, Sam signed for the medical supplies, while Zex and Hellorn conducted preliminary scans to ensure everything had been transported correctly. "All present and accounted for," Sam announced, checking off the last item on the inventory. "Including my prescription." "A prescription for thin blood," Hellorn remarked, his internal organs pulsing in what Sam had learned was amusement. "I still find the concept counterintuitive." "That's what makes interstellar medicine interesting," Sam replied with a smile. "What's normal for one species is dangerous for another." What's medicine for me might be poison for you. Yet we find common ground, Zex observed. Principles that transcend our biological differences. Sam nodded, picking up the container with his medication. And that's why we're going to make this program work. Not despite our differences, but because of them. As they left the cargo bay, Sam felt a profound sense of purpose. His medical condition, once just a chronic inconvenience to be managed, had become the catalyst for something important. Here on Proxima Station, at the edge of human space, they were forging a new understanding of health and healing that would benefit all species. Your blood is too thin, Zex had said that day in the medical bay. And Sam had smiled, knowing that his prescription, the very thing that kept him alive, had nearly killed him in this alien environment. But that contradiction, that moment of cross-species misunderstanding, had opened the door to something remarkable. Now, as he walked alongside his alien colleagues with his medication safely in hand, Sam knew he was exactly where he needed to be. The universe was vast and filled with different beings, each with their own biology and medical needs. Understanding those differences and finding the commonalities within them was work worth doing. And it had all started with a simple phrase, "Your blood is too thin," followed by a smile and the words, "That's my prescription."